Redeemed, how I love to proclaim it, redeemed by the blood of the Lamb, redeemed through His infinite mercy, His child and forever I am. Redeemed, redeemed, redeemed by the blood of the Lamb, redeemed, redeemed, His child and forever I am. His child and forever I am.
The Church of Christ in Canada welcomes you to Key to the Kingdom. Today's lesson is entitled, A Word Aptly Spoken.
Thank you for joining us today on Key to the Kingdom. We're so happy to have this opportunity to be with you and to share with you from God's Word. Last week we began to talk about the matter of a word fitly spoken. Based on Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 11, Solomon said, "A word aptly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver." That's a beautiful picture that he paints, that idea of apples of gold in this silver lattice work, as it were. And he says that words that are apt are like that. Words that are apt are words that meet the need. Now, last week we talked about the very idea that words can harm or heal. Words can build up or tear down. And we talked about the importance of thinking things through and thinking about what one is going to say. To recognize that in speaking, as Solomon has told us, that the person who is full of words is soon in sin. That he gets carried away and says things that he shouldn't say, and that kind of thing. Well, we came to the point last week where we read from the text that I just read a moment ago, Proverbs 25:11. And we wanted to look at some criteria for what it is that makes words apt. What is it that makes words fit? And we'll look at two or three of those. First of all, I would suggest that the question that we might ask is, are the words appropriate? Appropriate meaning suitable or fitting for a particular purpose, for a particular person, a particular occasion. Are the words appropriate? Are they words that should be said? And do they express the meaning that the person speaking them wants to express? Using appropriate words requires diligent attention, I think. And it's a matter of taking the time to think. Suggested that some people put their tongue in motion before their brain is in gear. And that's a sure formula for saying the wrong thing, being hurtful, being destructive in the things that are said. And as we think about words that are appropriate, I think that one of the things that makes them appropriate is that they're understandable by the person to whom they're directed. If I'm going to make a comment to someone, I need to use words that they will understand. And I need to recognize that sometimes words have meanings for different people. For example, a pen, P-E-N. For an accountant or a bookkeeper or somebody who's very involved in writing figures and so forth, he might think of a writing instrument. If I said the word pen to a farmer, he might think of a place where animals are enclosed. And if I said that word to a criminal, he might think of a jail or a penitentiary. We understand that words can have different meanings. I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about the word dress. Dress means to put on clothes. Dress means to sometimes put on appropriate clothes. You know, you might begin the day by saying, I dressed for the day. I dressed for the theater. I dressed for whatever the activity was. And we would know, if we understand your language and understand what you're saying, we would know that you put on special clothes that would be appropriate for what you were doing at that point in time. We also use the word to dress to decorate. I remember in Meaford, when we lived up there, they had in town at Halloween time, all of the stores would dress their windows with scarecrows and so forth. That was the part of the deal that they did. We use that word dress to put something protective and healing on a wound. We dress a wound. And then we might be talking, if we use the word dress, we might be talking about a woman's one-piece garment that's a dress. In other words, the meanings of words there may be many, and we may have to use other words so that the person that we're speaking to will understand. Sometimes word meanings change. For example, if you lived in Shakespeare's day, the word conversation meant a way of life. If I were to suggest that you had a conversation, you wouldn't be thinking a way of life, but rather you would be thinking about some give and take that you had with someone as you exchanged thoughts on a particular topic as you shared words. Also, when we think of words, they may have what is called a denotive meaning. That means specific. Or they may have connotative meaning, which is an emotional meaning or an emotional significance. For example, if I were to say to my wife, after she had bought a dress and she told me the price, and I said,